On today's installation video, we'll be discussing how to install a race chip on a CLS C218 with the 5.5 liter twin turbo V8. Before installing the race chip, please wait until your engine is cool enough to work on. Put your parking brake or emergency brake on. If your vehicle is equipped with an alarm system, please disable it. Pop the hood, roll up the windows, close the doors, and press the lock button on your key fob and move that key fob 30 feet away. You're gonna wait about 10 minutes after for all the electricity to clear from underneath the hood. To begin the installation, we're first gonna remove the plastic engine cover as well as the two plastic covers on the side. To do so, we're just gonna simply grab and lift straight up. As well as in the middle, be very careful. Slowly work your way around. And remove. Next up is to remove the sensor here on the side of the passenger side air intake. So to do so, we're going to first pull back on the gray locking tab and then push in and pull back. Next up, we're going to remove these two nuts right here with a 7mm socket. And we're just going to get these loose. Now with the two bolts loose, we're actually going to remove the snorkel onto the intake. To do so, just pinch and pull away. Then we're also going to remove the intake off the front of the radiator as well. And then we can remove the air cleaner from the passenger side. For the CLS, we'll be connecting our A connection right back here. Our B will go to the manifold pressure sensor here. And our C, if you have it, will go to the camshaft connection here. Okay. Alright, for the A connection, we're first going to pull the gray locking tab back and away from the plug until it clicks. And we're going to press down and pull away on the plug itself. We do not want to pull on the wires. Make sure you're grabbing the plastic housing when you're doing this. And then we're going to take the race chip wiring harness with the female side and plug it onto the male connection of the OEM sensor. Now the gray locking tab will go to the smooth side of the plug, not the side with the mounting tab. So we're going to press it on until it clicks and then lock the gray locking tab. And repeat the same process with the male end of the race chip harness onto the female end of the OEM sensor. Press it till it locks and push the locking tab until it snaps. Alright, for the B connection, same gray locking tab. Go ahead and pull that out until it clicks. You want to do this very gently, you don't want to pull too hard. And then you're going to want to push the tab and pull back. We use a little pick for this. Any small flathead screwdriver will also work just fine. Here we go. Again, be very gentle with the plugs. Now, for this one, it's actually going to be reversed of the A connection. We're going to be locking the locking tab on the same side as those mounting tabs. So the gray locking tab, once again, we're on the same side. And that's only going to be for the B connection. And now the male end of the race chip wiring harness, gray locking tab will go down towards the ground on this one. Get in there until it locks and press the locking tab, make sure it's on there. C connection, if you have it, will go onto the camshaft position sensor. Same as the other tabs, you're going to press back on the gray locking tab, press down to remove the sensor. For the OEM male plug onto the smooth side of the race chip wiring harness, press it until it locks. And then you'll take the male end of the race chip wiring harness, push onto the gray locking tab snaps, and you're good to go. Next step for the installation process is to mount the race chip someplace away from the hot and moving parts, as well as a place that moisture cannot easily get to. So for this application, there's a nice open well right here behind the headlight. We also know this is safe because there's a lot of electronics right here. That means there's going to be no moisture. With the race chip securely mounted in place, the next thing will be to actually plug in the wiring harness. To do this, we're going to remove the deactivation plug. Now you want to hang on to this, throw this in your glove box or maybe your center console. If you ever need to revert the car back to stock, you're going to easily just replace it with the deactivation plug. To remove this, we're going to pull the FCI plug away from the actual deactivation plug. Simply pull up and then place the race chip right onto the harness itself. Put it in place and lock it in there with the FCI plug. Now it's very important the first time we plug the race chip in that the LED screen does not light up, or if you have the RS or S, the green LED light does not come on. We don't want any power coming to the unit when we're installing the device. Next up is to route the wiring harness away from any hot or moving parts. It's very important that if you are going to zip tie to any electrical or fluid lines, that you do not zip tie too tight to pinch off the fluids or to pinch the electrical wires. Using the shorter of the supplied zip ties, we're going to go ahead and zip tie the wiring harness out of the way. Next up is to cut the excess ends off of the zip ties. Then we are going to reinstall the air intake on the passenger side. Now it's very important that you make sure to get the snorkel all the way back on to the intake. This can cause a check engine light. Okay. Now don't forget to plug in the sensor on the side of the intake. The gray locking tab will go towards the driver's side of the car. And last but certainly not least, just place the plastic cover back on top of the motor. And finish up by placing the plastic covers back on the two sides of the motor. Start in the default setting of the race chip for the first time you test drive the car. If everything works great, you can then move the race chip to the next level up. Be aware that the car needs some time to adapt before releasing the full performance upgrade. Now, get out, drive, and enjoy your race chip.